right, it's Friday somewhere. Let's drink.
Must be a lot of oats in here because this body is perfect. So,
basic Mexican lager. It's good. It's light. It's crisp.
Pretty much all base malt, London yeast.
Barley wine, which is adding a really intense sweetness to this.
I can give you a rundown of the beer if you want. But
we'll get to you. Calm down. Calm down there.
I'm very excited.
He is very excited.
I mean, break up the word independent into more syllables. Why don't you?
It's great to have you back, Joel Codner from West Palm Brewing and Wine Vault. We do have a live audience here, and it's really great to do this. I personally can't believe you guys paid money to come out and listen to us talk. And with that,
Pull back and then pull forward.
Yeah.
And then I give it a couple pats, and then I just spray like some Tresemme shit in it.
Wow.
And
So you're using multiple products.
Yes, I am.
Wow. Well, it does look good.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
All right. Christ.
Uh-oh. Did I? Oh, wait, no. Cancel.
Gotta get a beer.
Ooh, nice pink bag. It's not even
like
October.
It matches my pink shirt.
I feel like we have NFL goalposts to dress up right now.
I'm gonna go with the story of the day.
Yeah, no matter what I pour here, you're gonna steal the show with that whale beer that you have.
It's the story. All right. Is the show already started? We haven't done this in so long. Do we still do the start?
Let's do the start.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's your thing. You got to crack the beer. You got to be like, it's Friday somewhere, so let's drink.
Let's drink. All right. By the way, we should keep all this part, and then I should just start the show in the middle of the show.
Oh, I'm going to cut the fuck out of this. I can guarantee it. I'm so glad I get last edit.
You do get last edit. That's right. Now you like it, don't you? Yeah.
I do.
Oh, that's a good sound. It's Friday somewhere. Let's drink. Ooh, welcome to the show. We are back. And I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Ed Grohl. Edwin, say hello.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you after, I would say, we were pre-Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been a long
time. I mean, we shouldn't make it so far apart. Like, I feel
we shouldn't.
like...
Oh, we'll do what we always do.
I feel like we're
flurry of activity, and then we'll just get dead for a while.
I feel like we're parents trading a kid or a pet at some point. Like, we're like, I'll meet you on the corner of the highway, like at rest stop 41, Yeah. But here, I'll hang on. I have. Ooh.
Oh, what do you have?
What
do you have?
All right, we're gonna have to get to yours because it's a showstopper. I have. Try to keep with the theme for today. I have Troegs Coconator.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that I found in the bowels of my fridge, and I was like,
that one was left behind for you. Wow.
Yeah, one of the few. Play taps for this.
She
beer.
took the fucking. she took the fucking ice trays.
What kind of crazy bitch takes the ice cream trays?
I'm glad you're picking up what I'm putting down, man. That's awesome.
That is literally the best thing that guy's ever done in his life.
It really is.
He was hysterical.
He was so good. That line, that's one of my favorite lines.
What kind of crazy bitch takes the ice cream trays?
Oh, God.
And then the other part where they got Bill Paxton and he's like, oh, yeah, you're in big trouble. And he's like, oh, we're going to take you down. Oh, yeah. And he's just yelling at him. He's like, oh, God. Hilarious. That movie
so good.
Goddamn.
True Lies. Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Elijah Jizku's first foray into movies. That was great. Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, that's a star-studded cast. A fun movie. Yeah. A shit movie, but a fun movie.
Do it.
Carrere?
Slowly. the stripper scene. Do it.
Yeah.
Slowly.
And she falls. Apparently that whole thing where she fell down was
real.
Not, yeah, she actually did that.
It was
and
not.
Then Arnold put his hand in his head, and that was a real thing that they actually did, and it was their chemistry was so good. They were
brilliant.
Oh yeah,
so good. All right, so Coconator. We've drunken this on the show before, but this is the 2020 version, and this is a beer I was glad to see them bring back. it was the result of the 2019, I think, homebrewer event that they did. They gave everyone a corny keg of the wort and then said, bring us back something cool. And who did this? I can't remember her name.
You're asking the wrong dude.
Shoot.
I can't remember shit.
Is her name on the can?
Oh.
The home brewer that won. Damn it. You know
Hang
what?
on. I have to read. We'll edit this out.
No, this is good stuff.
Came from the winner of our first ever homebrew hang, Kristen Richards of Harrisburg.
Thank you.
She was at Vegetable Hunter for a little bit. When they first round.
Everyone's been a vegetable hunter for a little bit.
Yeah.
Everyone's been a vegetable hunter for a little bit. I mean, you're there for a little bit and then you aren't. So that's kind of like vegetable hunters thing, you know?
Kristen is good people. I do know that for sure.
Who's there now?
I couldn't even tell you. Bill, I know it's been a long time. I'm so far out of the goddamn loop. I couldn't even tell you. I went to a brewery. I went to Fourscore Brewing in Gettysburg to get one of Derek's beers that he did a collab with them last weekend.
Was it a s'more thing?
It was pastry stouts, definitely, but they were awesome. Like we had both, and they were great. And then the fruit beers they were doing were phenomenal. That I want to go back this weekend for the two they're releasing again. Like,
nice,
really good. But I sent Derek a message while I was there. I was like, "Your beers are phenomenal, dude! Like, congrats on this! Like, it's so good." And that place was really great. But I'm like, I think I'm like in tune to the beer world. And I said, "So how long have you guys been open?" She's like, "Oh, a year and a half." I'm like, "Well, I'm an asshole for asking now. Like, oh, I came all the way from Harrisburg. Like, I've never heard of you." Like, what a dip.
I think one of their first brews was when they were still building. They did a collab with Pizza Boy, and I had it. It was very good.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they worked with Al a little bit, so I was helping him out, which was very cool of him.
I do have to say, everything that we had there, I was like, oh, I'll hate this. Like, I was just waiting for the one. I liked everything I had there. Did really good. I did. We got a couple of the bottles to go, and the one peanut butter one that I did taste, the base stout was a little thin, but it was still a 10%er bourbon barrel with peanut butter. I thought it was good, like once it warmed up a little bit, but it could have used a little bit more backbone, which we complain about on this show a lot. But I got to be honest with you, their stuff is very good, and anybody would be it would behoove you if you're going to be down that area to go check them out. Very cool building too, and they have outside seating. They've got some indoor stuff. Really neat.
And brilliant name, Fourscore in Gettysburg. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, great. And Dummy Ed was like, "Oh, where's that?" like, at first I was like, "Oh, where would that be?" Like, you idiot. But no, took a little road trip down. It was great.
Cool. I definitely need to get there. Probably post COVID, I'll make it. Did Derek, before I get to my beer, because this is going to be a long discussion once we get to my beer, did Derek tell you when he's finally opening? Do we have a timeline? Now I can't hear you. So I think you turn yourself way too dark.
I muted. Sorry. The only thing I could get out of him was that it's coming along. So, and then I made sure to be like, "Hey, don't forget me when you're doing your soft opening."
Yeah. When I don't know about the soft opening, but we will record there for sure. He's a good dude. And now you're frozen. Damn it. Is that me or is that you? I'm Hardline.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. You were frozen there for a bit.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot I had my VPN on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta kill that.
I mean, I gotta keep the Plex up to date, so
Yeah.
So no, we should be good now. No,
we should be good now. Okay. Yeah. I was like,
thanks for the heads up, because that made me start looking around my toolbar, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I was like, oh, my VPN's on. I'm in.
Yeah, you were clipping at the top of the mic range.
Yeah,
too. Just
sorry about that.
That's all right. Yeah.
Should be okay now.
We haven't done this in how long? We're long. Okay, so back on track. Derek has not given out when he's going to open. It looks the the facility looks fantastic. It's beautiful. If I take the time, I'll put a link to the show notes. Wolf Brewing, though. Wolf Brewing. Check it out when it finally does open. We will certainly talk about it after it happens. Okay, I think it's time to talk about my beer, right? Is it time?
Yeah, let's peel the top off this mofo.
All right.
Somebody got to Trogs early today.
I did get to Trogs early. This is such a good story. I'm so glad I did it. Dave, sometime member of IFS podcast, was giving me tons of shit about it, but this story is super good, so I'm glad I did it.
He really pooped on your parade today.
Yeah, well, he was like, you could just order it online. I don't know why you're getting there online. And I'm like, dude, this is not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And he was poo-pooing me. Now, all fairness, he did get some on the pre-order, but he was one of very few. I got some Double Nugget Nectar, and I went to Trogs today, and I stood in line. I never stand in line for beer. I have spoken for years on this show and on Twitter about how standing in line for beer is not worth it.
But you were first in line, correct?
That's correct. I was first in line.
So what I'm proposing to you, and I know I brought this up in our chat.
Bears repeating.
If you're first in line, are you actually in line? Like, you're not like 35 people back going, am I going to get a beer? Like, you're there for a half hour or whatever. Like, I don't know. If you're first in line, you're guaranteed to get it. So I don't consider that actually in line. I just consider that gumption. You're like, all right, I got early.
When I got there were a bunch of cars already there, and I'm looking around. I'm like, and I got there at 9:30, maybe a little bit before 9:30, like 9:20, and I'm in my car. I saw there's no one standing in line, no one standing outside. I had to park a little bit further away than a bunch of people were parked, but there's a lot of people sitting in their cars are idling. And so I get out to like walk up because I saw there was a sign as I was driving by. Walk up, line starts here. And I stop and I look around. And I'm looking, and all these people are in their cars looking at me. And I'm looking at them. And I go, well, line starts here. And so I stood there.
And that's all it usually takes is one person to go bloop, and then the cars start to empty. They're like, well, I guess we're gonna have to get in line now.
Well, I gotta tell you, I felt a little sheepish for about 10 minutes because I was standing there all by myself. But then someone else got out of their car. And then boom, everyone's out of their cars now.
The deluge, yeah.
Right. As soon as a second person was in line, everyone's like, I gotta get in. I gotta get out.
What was the initial line? Like, can you give us a head count?
Yeah, before it got to 10 o'clock, the line had run from the front step of the brewery back past the beer garden. But people in the portion of the line that I saw were practicing exceptional social distance, like more than 6 feet.
I keep forgetting about that. Yeah,
they were having more than 6 feet of space. People were being very cool. And everyone's wearing masks, even though we were outside. I wasn't wearing the mask for a while until lots of other people showed up, because wearing them outside, like wind moving around and stuff, and people standing far away, like I don't generally feel the need to wear a mask. But then it started to get crowded and other people wearing masks, so I naturally put one on.
I'm with you on that a little bit, yeah. Yeah,
I spent most of the time staying outside wearing a mask, and but people are pretty far apart. And then at like 10:15, it started to get pretty interesting. There were lots of cars showing up, and
they open doors at 11, right?
They open doors at 11. Okay. And then I like look down, and the back of the line is crowded. So people in the front of the line had kind of established their space, and they were just standing there in the cold, and it was cold. But the back of the line, people were clearly more close. And the line was wrapping up and across the parking lot entrance, and going across the parking lot lane. And I'm like, holy cow, this is a lot of people here. And I'm doing some math in my head, like, okay, 500 4-packs and half are evenly split between online and folks in line. And I'm like thinking it's 250 4-packs for the folks in line. And I'm thinking this is interesting. And then promptly at 11 o'clock, they start inviting us in. I'm the first one to walk in the door. They let 15 people into the general store at a time. I grab a case of this.
Wow, 15 sounds like a lot to me. In their general store, that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I get a case of the Double Nectar because that's what I intended to buy. I've got some friends I'm going to hand some off to. I'm not selling it. I'm going to give it to folks. That's as is. I'm not selling it. I don't do that. No clearing a throat. I just got some friends I'm going to hand some to. Cupcakes
what
will
I'm
get some.
is
Price will get some. What?
Holla at your boy.
Okay, I'll get you some. I'll get you some.
My pipeline's dried up.
Yeah. Well, your beer pipeline's dried up.
Yeah. God damn it! That would have shown up today by noon.
Yeah, and I get up. I also bought a case of regular Nugget Nectar pounders, and then I also ordered a couple crowlers. While I'm waiting for my crowlers to be filled, Christine, who does the taste, what we taste videos, she's great. She's on the phone. They got a ton of people working there, and they were handling this with aplomb because it was clearly even at 11:05, it was pretty obvious this was not going to go well to me.
Oh no!
And I'm waiting for my crowlers to be filled up and be handed to me, and I hear her say, "Online orders are sold out," and I'm like, "Oh, we have a problem." Like that's crazy. They were also going to have kegs to pour it on site, and they were going to have other growlers too, and crowler giveaways. I did not get a crowler of this. I got crowlers of some other IPAs and the Blonde Bock. And I walk out, and other folks are getting 2 or 3 cases of Double Nugget. And I'm not standing in judgment of them. There were no limits. You got there early. You bought what you were allowed to buy. I thought a case was sufficient for what I wanted. When I go to Trogs, I buy a case of beer. So I felt like I was just doing what I always do with every beer.
You are absolutely a case guy.
I'm a case guy. I buy a case. And if the limit had been, 8 or 16, I would have bought that. And as I'm walking out, I'm realizing it's actually worse than I thought. Because now the line is longer than I thought because I'm able to walk to my car and see more of it. I get in my car and I'm driving out, and the line is going all the way along the length of the building and then across the entrance to the far parking lot and all the way along that sidewalk to the end of that parking lot. And people are still getting in line.
Yuck.
It was obvious to me, and on Facebook and some other places, people were getting in line that weren't going to get any. And Trogs got roasted online. And then I had to run a couple other.
Now why? I mean,
why?
This is obviously a limited release,
right?
What did they do wrong? I guess
so
in the eyes of people that would give them.
There was an initial screw up, which I didn't think was that big a deal. Which a lot of people there were people already ready to pounce on them because their social media that I saw said that the initial pre-orders were going to be Monday, Martin Luther King Day, right? For Thursday pickup. But then the orders...
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah, they had a pre-order. But the pre-order actually went forward on Sunday morning and was gone in 2 hours. And by the time I found out about it, I was like, oh. And I'm going back checking the social media. It says, no, Monday. Apparently, some places they said Sunday, some places they said Monday, and it opened Sunday, and it was wiped out in 2 hours. One of the big drivers of getting people, I think, hyped about this was Breweries of PA, which has a lot of followers and moves a lot of, I think, a lot of eyeballs around what's happening in Pennsylvania.
Do we know who runs that?
I've DM'd with them a couple of times on Twitter. I invited them on the show. They said yes. We never got to work it out because the dates didn't work out, and then you and I went into hiatus, and then we're going to get them on the show eventually because
I think you and
very
I
interesting.
Is pretty generous there. I've been sitting here doing nothing for 18 months.
Okay, so I went on hiatus because I'm very busy and
important.
I'm not that important. Stop that. And we're all replaceable. And they were driving a lot of the conversation around it online, and that's cool. That's cool. So like the hype started to build. And there were some people who are pissed off about what happened with the Sunday, Monday snafu. I was just kind of like, I'll just show up Thursday and get a glass of it if necessary. Like, I'll work this out. I'd already said that we were going to drink this beer and talk about it here on the show.
Now, didn't we already talk about this with John the last podcast that we did?
Yeah, the marathon session we talked about.
I also was getting it from my former pipeline that would come in the house and be like, well, Double Nugget, that might become a thing, like not like confirmed or anything. But then John was like, yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Exclusive.
Yeah, he confirmed
that you can only
it.
Get here on our podcast.
Yeah, he confirmed it on our podcast. So we listened to the 3-hour session. You got a lot of interesting information because John and us, we drank a lot of beers that night. We had a good time.
I remember just being like, I love you guys, and being like, what did I do last night? And then I listened to it and I was like, you drunk idiot.
Oh God, we got so hammered. It was fun though. It was fun. And he's still talking to me, so that's good.
It's always better when it's we all got hammered, not like, oh, I just made an ass of myself and ruined my daughter's ballet recital. Like, you call that a pirouette? You stink.
You big galoot.
Triple axel.
Triple axel. It's a figure skating. It's fantastic.
Even better.
And, he talked about it on the show. It was clearly the hype was building. People were pissed about Sunday, Monday. I was going to just go there and get it. And then Turk said, look, we'll have some for purchase on site, which I think they always intended to. I really do. And we got 504 packs coming in beyond what was already pre-ordered, half for online, half for in-store pickup. And this is, I think, probably the critical error. And it's an error, I think, from a lack of maybe fully understanding like what was building out there. No limits, which I was kind of surprised by, but hey, happy. I'm a case guy. I'm buying a case. So, it kind of fell apart today. Didn't go all that well. I don't think they have much to apologize for because a couple of points. One, Trogs is not a hype brewery. They don't market it themselves in hype. They don't do hype releases. They're not. They are looking to produce enough beer that that if you want it and you get there within a reasonable period of time, which I've been told is 2 weeks, it should be available for you to enjoy, either on premises or for purchase to take home.
And that's never been their intention, is to be that. I remember when they did a couple Splinter releases back when they were down on Paxton Street at their old place, and they had people from Virginia, like campers pulling up, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to have that."
That's not there. That's not there.
Yeah.
They don't. What happened today is not the way they want to move their product. This is all the people there, and there's a lot of hate online. People are like, you need to remember the people that got you where you are. It's like, I'm sorry, but you're not entitled to a beer. You're not entitled to any beer. And hell, if you can always make it your own. You have no right to any of this.
Limited supply is limited supply.
It happens.
You're not special because you bought a beer
Right.
in 1999. Like,
Right.
no.
And then they're flipping out about people, selling the beers, and I'm not even going to go down that road again. That's well worn on this show.
I'm sure on the secondary market it was already there an hour later, like, ooh, $200 for a 4-pack or whatever.
I do think the Trogs, I think they were a little bit disappointed that there are people that wanted to walk away with it that couldn't get it. I think really where it probably hurt is for the folks that wanted to have a glass of it this weekend or later today or this evening, wanted to come in, have a meal and have this, that they can't get it. That's probably really where this hurts.
Oh, but you said that they put kegs aside, so
they're pulling kegs so that they can fill some crowlers, because if you pre-order crowlers and some other things. My understanding is they pulled some kegs to make sure that they can fill those crowlers for people already ordered. Because if you ordered online and you got in to those tiny windows, I think you have 7 days to pick up. So I think that.
Okay.
So, but the fact that even if that didn't happen, which I think it did, but even if that didn't happen, at 1:30, this was all gone. It was all gone. Gone. No 4-packs, no crowlers. You couldn't sit down and have a glass of it. And I think at that point, there probably was some realization that they had a problem. Because when I said that for these limited releases, what they're trying to do is hit a target of, if you come here, you can experience this beer if you come within 2 weeks of its release date. They had a 2-hour window, which is several orders of magnitude below what they want in their target.
Also, there has to be a difficulty exponential here for how many people are actually going to show up, because we're social distance still. Like, we're still doing that.
Well,
you know what I mean? And you said that the line was long, but at the end it started to just get like an actual line.
Yeah.
Other than people I mean, did they really expect everybody and their brother to show up to buy this stuff in person?
They did get surprised. I can verify that they got surprised. They were caught. It's the middle of winter, middle of a pandemic. Things are pretty sluggish right now for this brewery and for many others.
It's freaking January. Like, nobody wants to stand outside. January,
February are dead zones for retail, and this is a retail product. And the releases haven't moved a whole lot. Yeah, I think this got a lot of attention, but I don't think that they look at social media to move the needle. They look at social media as a communication tool to go directly to people that they want to talk to about their beer, not to move beer. I think it has that effect of moving beer, but that's not the point.
The problem is lighting a match on a dry bale of hay, and the whole barn's on fire now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem. Like, you can be like, hey, we're going to do this, and you have the best intentions. But once all the whale people are like, well, there's only 2,000 cans of this, we're going to have to go and, we're going to drive up from, Podunk, South Virginia,
right,
and buy this and sell it on the secondary market for 10 times the markup.
I specifically asked, like, hey, can you just brew some more? Response was 3 to 5 weeks to do that. They don't know. That would come at the end of the Nugget Nectar season, which maybe would be a nice little bookend to it. I think that would help. I think there are people who say it'll hurt, because it's like, well, I had my special thing and now you're diluting my special thing, which is total.
Oh yeah, those people are like, well, I waited in line for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and it was January, and now you made more. Fuck you.
Big middle finger to all those people. So it would help. I think they should do it. If they can, but they don't, like, tank space. Like, a brewery like that is on a schedule. Those tanks have to rotate on very specific times in very specific windows in order to maintain a general turnover of beer that they have going out across 13 states. The logistics of a brewery of that size are incredible.
The other problem is too, the beers that they need to fund the brewery with are the ones that they need to give priority to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't just be like, oh, well, because a bunch of beer nerds on Facebook are pissed off, we have to take one of these, fermenters down, and fuck Blizzard of Hops. Now we have to do this.
Well, this is fun, but really we should slow down brewing the number one IPA in Pennsylvania. Perpetuals have to sit tight for a little bit while we make.
Yeah. Sorry. I was trying to figure. Yeah, I couldn't think of
we got to slow down some Perpetuals so we can appease these assholes over here.
I could probably Kickstarter 25 homebrewers to try to get the recipe right and be out in their parking lot all day, but I don't think that's going to fulfill demand.
No. God, if they can rebrew them over it, I think they'd like to. If they don't, it's because they can't. I truly believe that, because if they could sell it, breweries like to sell beer. If people want to hand over money for beer, they'd like to be able to engage in that exchange. So if you don't see this again until next year, which you're going to see this next year, I've not been told that, but how could they not? Then, we'll see. I think it was exciting. I think it's an honest mistake. I've been told it's an honest mistake. I'm going to just quote this part directly. We're just trying to give the best customer service possible. I honestly missed this one. We'll do better next time. They took full responsibility for the batch size. They're like, we didn't know. And can you blame them? They try to tailor batch sizes the last week or two for on-site sales. And they do acknowledge that there's responsibility around the no limits. But come on. Sales have been down. It's been slow. They got swamped. One thing I really want to make sure that the folks who listen to this understand, and I believe that there are some people that work there that listen to us. The coworkers at Trogs handled this with aplomb. They really did. You could see that they were excited, and then as I was leaving, you could see that they were like a little bit. They were a little bit like I think deer in headlights. And they still were courteous, kind, trying to do their best. And, the management decisions that were made at the very top about what goes out and with scheduling and things like that, that's not done by the guy across the counter who's handing over your beer. So if you're mean to that guy, you need to really look in the mirror.
Oh, if anybody's mean to any employee there, that's horseshit.
And that little bit I just read came from John directly, friend of the show, been on a bunch of times. He'll be on hopefully again in the future. I don't think they have much to apologize for, because getting caught, short like this, it happens. And look, if they were a brewery that was regularly in the hype game, I'd say you guys are just trying to make a disaster. But they're not. They're not a hype brewery.
Right, trying to get on Instagram and being like, oh, look, all this stuff and getting hits like that. No. And John and I are the same age. And you just know from all the discussions we had with it, he did not intend for that to be the thing at all. They thought sometimes your heart's in the right place and you can do everything that you can. But, sometimes you just, I don't know. What was the other? They had another one that they did. What's the other big IPA that they do? I'm gonna forget the name.
Nimble Giant.
Yeah, when that first came out, people went fucking bananas for it.
Yeah,
but then they just made it like a regular thing, and now it's cool.
Yeah,
I love Nimble Giant, but when it first came out, I think didn't people go for it?
Close listeners to this show will remember that we talked about that release. The first time they released it, they did it in bottles. It was super limited, because they released it in bottles in order to protect the trademark. I saw that they had released it, went, damn, name beer, I'm in. And I raced down, I bought 2 cases of it, and I was like, this is going to disappear. And And no one was paying attention. And I'm handing it out to a bunch of people like, hey, check this out.
No one's paying attention. I love that.
Attention. And then, and you know, it was totally possible that that could have been this, right? That because the first year that Nimble Giant was released wasn't the first year that Nimble Giant was released. Everyone remembers the first can. It wasn't. They released it in bottles.
Yeah.
And it was a name beer. No one was paying attention then. And Double Nectar very much could have been like that. And so I think there's a lot of lessons that are taken away from here. But if you are upset about how this was handled, I'm not sure I understand that. Easy for me, and you could just stand there and say, well, easy for you to say, Bearcat. You got some. And I would say that's correct. I also, and I think you can hear that in this show today and in the past. This is the brewery I care about. This is my brewery. And I try to understand what they do and why they do it. And I then try to communicate it back out here through what I can interpret and understand or what I glean specifically straight from them. So I was going to be there today and I was going to get it. So I think I'm done talking about this release. I don't know. Anything else you want to say?
No, I wasn't there. You gave a good guy on the, boots on the ground type of thing.
By the way, the beer is very good.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to get your rating because that's what we used to do. And I'm sitting here slumming it with Coconator. But oh my God, you're almost car bombing that thing.
So I'm also
you are like a circus animal when you drink beer sometimes. I'm like, this guy will just drink anything.
I'm drinking it out of a Voodoo limited release glass. It's a glass solo cup with a gold rim.
That explains the rims around it. Yeah.
And the name of the beer this was released with was Hot Garbage.
That looks like a glass sex toy. That's what that looks like right there.
Okay. It doesn't look any more like a glass sex toy than that perfect IPA glass from Dogfish Head. Remember that thing?
Yeah.
How many of those did people break?
I mean,
it had the thinnest rim.
So give us your thoughts on the beer that you were first in line for that everyone's whining about and that you got.
It's Nugget Nectar, I think the Nugget hops really are like dominant, not just in name, but in flavor. In this one, I think it's a lot of Simcoe. It's peachy. It's piney on the back end. It's balanced still on the malt side. It's got a proper bitterness. I kind of wish that they would put the IBUs on the can for this one. I just wish they put IBUs on cans, period. But no one wants to talk about how bitter a beer is anymore. This one's got a proper bitterness to it, which coupled with the malty sweetness really does balance out nicely. It's boozy. The 9.5% is present. You know it. It's not shying away from it. It is a lot of Munich malt. It's a little bit piney, and I think that it says dank pine on the label. I'm not getting much dank.
What intern wrote that?
It's
dank, bro.
It's dank. That might have been Fej.
That wasn't a Rush reference.
Yeah. I mean, it's super good. It's clearly Nugget Nectar. Like it's not like, oh yeah, it's, it definitely has all those elements just turned way up. I really like it. Do I like it better than Nugget Nectar? No, because I'm not going to have multiples of these back to back to back because they're 9.5%. Whereas I think Nugget Nectar,
we'd like to see you live through the day, Bill.
Yeah, I think Nugget Nectar is sessionable for me. Maybe I don't know other people think it's a session beer. I do.
Oh no, let's do this. Nugget Nectar is crushable.
It's crushable. Yeah, you hate that. This is really good. It's not replacing Nugget Nectar for me, nor should it for anyone else.
Really,
in my opinion, no. Nugget Nectar Nugget Nectar is a special beer for me. It's one of my favorites, and it's actually also one of my Nugget Nectar led to one of my favorite write-ups that I did on the blog. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. I made a reference to one of my favorite books around it, and it all tied together really nicely. So, yeah, I rate it. I gave it 5 caps on Untapped because I give everything 5 caps on Untapped.
You're Billy 5 cap.
Billy 5 cap. This is.
If I've met you, it's 5 caps.
Were you nice to me?
If we're on a text message basis, you get a 5 cap.
This is an 9-1. Very, very good. Highly regarded. I'm a generous rater. Cocoa Nader, thoughts?
Love it. I've been drinking it since we've been gabbing about. I know I've had it before, but it really, for me, sometimes the caramel notes of the Bach style beers really takes me out of it. But this is more boozy and everything, more viscousy. I love it. The color of this thing is amazing, and just such a good old school. The head on it has been perfect. I'm giving the Coconator an 8.5 out of 10. This is really really well done. And just listening to you wax poetic about the nugget has been great, and I love it so much. It's really good.
Yeah.
Ooh, that looks good.
Moving on to beer number 2, both figuratively and actually. Oh God, Hop Slam 2021, baby, Bells. This is a perennial favorite as well.
Yes.
One of the original big boys.
I remember when that was Hop Slam's out, we got to go get it.
Yeah. You used to fight for this.
That KBS.
I don't drink KBS anymore.
No, but we're not supposed to.
Or CBS, which I miss CBS.
All up by being assholes.
So, Trogs is a brewery. I buy every beer they make. They make a beer, I buy it, period, bar none, every single one. The only time I might not buy a beer they make is if they do a smoked beer, which I don't think they will. So, we're going to be on.
Doesn't seem like something they would want to do.
No, I think they're going to do that. Bells. They make a beer, I buy it. If they got more of their beers into Central PA, I buy more of them. But if Bells makes a beer, they're making it right. They have 100% of my trust. A couple of things about Hop Slam. Big, boozy, double IPA brewed with honey. People say they can taste the honey in here. I think there's a general sweetness to it. As Bells was clear to point out on Twitter when I was talking about having this the other night with intern Jimmy, the yeast eats all the honey. So whatever sweetness you are enjoying comes from the malt.
Here's the thing, though, and I remember that exchange. I mean, honey still has a distinct flavor that can still hang around.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Now, do I think that it's omnipresent in that beer?
Yeah.
Probably not. But at the same time, I could see where you could get a little sweetness out of it. I love their green tap handles with the little green globe on it. You're
Beautiful.
like, ooh, Hop Slam. Yeah.
Yeah. This is great branding. It's just a beautiful, beautiful bottle. One of the things I really like about it, you get the package date. This was packaged 1/7/2021, so nice and fresh. And then right above that, I don't know if you can see this, but for the folks at home, it says shelf life, 3 months. So you're telling me when you packaged it through a little
So you're saying
printed code,
there's a chance.
and then you're telling me how long I can keep it on. It's shelf stable. I can keep it on a shelf. 3 months, which is not a lot of time. If you see this on the shelf in late March, I'd be surprised. This stuff goes pretty quick. Highly recommended. Definitely pick this one up.
It's a high alcohol. What is that? 10%.
10%. Yeah, 10%.
So that's what maintains the dates on that. They're like, all right, we can give you 3-4 months on that.
The place where I used to always get this was the Shady McGrady's.
Oh yeah. Yep.
He put it on tap late.
Yeah.
So it'd pop up everywhere else.
Brewhouse Girl would do it too.
Yeah, it'd pop up everywhere else. Now then, Shady McGrady's would pop up, and you go in there and leave like you smoked 3 packs of Pall Malls and had 4
I
beers.
used to do that too. I'm like, oh, Hop Slam's out. Let's go get it. Woo.
Yeah,
I mean, that was before the modern times where you can just get whatever the hell you want, whenever you want.
Yeah. I'm looking at the rundown here. We talked about Hop Slam. Oh, the one thing's about in my notes here about Hop Slam. I was at E-Town Beverage when I bought this, which is I hate going there, but it was convenient.
Why?
Why do I hate going there? They only want to sell to college students. That's their stock and trade.
So it's like a convention.
They're moving.
Like,
They're
are
there
there
to
party
move.
balls there? Because I would.
They're
go to a
not,
party
but
ball.
everything but.
I wish.
They employ college students from E-Town. Their stock and trade really is just 30 packs of Natty Ice and Keystone, but they do have occasionally some decent beers there. But that's a place where I check the date codes before I walk up to the counter. They had 2 6-packs of this. I walk up to the counter. I said to the guy, hey, I saw you got 2 6-packs in the cooler. Any chance you got a case? Remember? Case guy. He has to go find the manager. Manager's like, no, that's all we got. Like, real dismissive, kind of like, why are you asking me questions? Okay, thank you, pal. I said, all right, I'll take both of them. And he goes to ring me up. Then he has to go back and find the manager again because the 6-pack is $20. And I see him have to walk over to the manager and he goes, this came up as $20. Is that right? And I'm going, yeah, that's right. That's what it cost. I'm not going to give you a hard time. Like I think he thought I was going to give him a hard time about it. Like, nah, I know what I'm doing. I'm not $20 for this kid to buy a case of beer would cause him to go, flat on his back.
No, I remember telling people, I'm like, what's the most you paid for a beer? I go, I don't know, $100. They're like, for one beer? I go, yeah. That's what you do. I don't know.
And that was an Eclipse 50/50, I'm assuming? Or
No, the Eclipses are only 30 a piece, but I think I chipped in on a what's the Sam Adams one? Utopia.
Utopias. That's $250.
I threw 100 in on like a shared, yeah. I mean, that's
it's worth it.
Oh my god, that 4-pack is $32. Like, oh god, relax, Holmes.
Yeah, calm down. It's okay. I'm not gonna. Like, I think he was really worried I was gonna be upset. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. And by the way, I'm buying 2. I'm buying 2. That's $42. Yes, plus tax, whatever.
The move would have been like, oh, that's all it is. I'll take 2. Go tell your
Yeah.
manager.
This is on top of the last time I was at Little's in Mount Joy, or not. Little's is in Columbia, and I'm
Wow.
buying 2 cases of Trogs. I'm buying a case of Mad Elf and a case of their best beers of the year, most wonderful beers mix pack, and I put them up on the counter, and guys are ringing me up. I got 3 or 4 people behind me in line. This was just before Christmas. The guy's like, $78. I'm like, all right. And the guy's like, well, I guess we know who makes the money here. And I'm like, yeah, and I spent it too.
$78.
Mad
And
Elf
somebody's like, well, I know how you have it. Like, but like,
sorry.
78?
It's not Yingling. It's okay. It's okay.
I've walked out of bottle shops with 3 bombers for
Yeah, I know.
way more than that.
Yeah. Do you remember what we did at Treehouse? Holy cow. That was
That was
disgusting.
my favorite part about that day. Ed, You guys
Yeah, that was
fuck this guy.
that was. I thought you planted $20 on a stranger to ask them to do it.
The greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Everywhere I go, somebody's like, "Hey, I know that guy." It's so funny. No, that was great. The beers were great that we got out of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dave had a fun time on his Facebook groups or whatever with it. But no, that was great. I want to go back up there. If you guys
we'll definitely do that again.
Yeah, let's do it like a weekend.
One of the questions people said we should talk about places closing. I don't know of any places that are closing.
I really don't.
Everyone's
either.
holding on. Holding on. But there are a bunch of places that closed like early on. Like they were already dead. The early pandemic came through and just pushed them over the edge. It's almost like the pandemic was a gift because they could blame that versus whatever bad business model they had.
Correct.
So
to your lender. Can you name one that we thought was going to? Because like even and I'm not saying that these are places that I thought were going to close, but like I've seen a lot of traction for just locally. Hemauer. Everyone's going over there.
Really?
Having a time. People love Hemauer. Mellow Mink's been doing great.
I like Mellow Mink.
Me and Nate went over there months ago, and they'll give you a hot dog as food. But
I really like Hemauer. I really like Hemauer. The hard part is I don't think many people know how to say it.
Oh, that could be. But like then you get the jerk offs like Flapjacks, the Devil's Eye, and they're like so. 2 months ago, coming back from DC, and they had Facebook posts from people like, "Oh, we're partying here," and they were having a mask party,
the anti-mask party.
And I sent it to you guys, and I go, "These guys are idiots," and they got slapped down, like they're shut down for 2 weeks. The government was like, "Nope." Like they should have just yanked their stupid liquor license. You guys are idiots.
Tattered Flags got bailed out a little bit by the Barstool Fund, which
okay, I don't even know what this is.
So Barstool, which I don't particularly care for.
No, I'm not a big fan of that whole thing, but
sometime IFS podcaster Dave Easy Pretzel, big fan of Dave Portnoy. He considers him his own personal Lord and Savior. Big fan of Barstool. I find the whole shtick to be awful. I do like the pizza reviews. I hate everything else about that site. But I do like what they did, which is they started the Barstool Fund, which is people donating money to help out private businesses. The private business has to have been established for so long, and they must, this is the part I liked, continue to pay their employees. They had to have continued to pay their employees during the pandemic. They appeal to the fund, and they're giving them a bunch of money. It's a lot of runway to carry them to continue to pay their employees and to continue to have a flow of money to save their business. Tattered Flags got some. Good for them. We've not always been the kindest to Tattered Flags, and I think for good reasons.
They've had really bad product in the past.
They have.
And really bad service and everything. I think one time you and I were there, and it's the first time in probably my adult life that I've ever sent a beer back in my life, and I got a White Russian instead.
That was the infected cherry.
No. Not that one when we were upstairs.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You did that. We did that twice. Oh, my God.
And remember, I was out getting a charger for our buddy's wife, and I go, okay, I got a charger for you. And they're like, and I came back in, and you guys go, Ed, tell us what you think of this beer. Yeah. And you guys had already done it.
Yeah, we had already done it.
Oh, that's infected.
Yeah.
And then we tried to tell them, and they said no. No. That's the chai.
That was the chai.
Chai doesn't taste like sour cherries, you idiots.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. In all fairness, that was a long time.
Oh yeah.
They did
6-7 years ago.
Yeah, they did improve. They have improved. Good guys. Wish them well.
I have nothing against them.
I think they had a rough start. But they their TMI pale ale, not bad. It's good beer.
Yeah, when they had the new brewer take over, I forget his name.
I kind of liked him. Can't remember his name either now. Lives in E-Town. He gave up brewing. So
no kidding.
Morrow.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, he gave up brewing. Yeah, I don't know. He's out of the game. Good guy. Really good guy. Has good thoughts about brewing too, but he's out. And he left there. I think he went to Chatty Monks, and then he got out. He got out of the game. So good news for Tatterflag. Happy for them. Barstool Fund. I don't like Barstool. I'm very happy about the Barstool Fund. So, it's good stuff. One of the other questions, where are we spending our beer dollars in 2020, 2021? I can answer that really easily. About half my money is the Trogs, which is generally always true. The rest is to local breweries I really like. Kind of sprinkling that around. And then I've kept it pretty much hyper local. But one of the things I just did this week, and I really regret it, I ordered 3 4-packs from the Vale because they just opened up distribution sales, shipping sales to Pennsylvania. And I bought 3 4-packs. We were on the Vale train for a year and a half.
Oh yeah, and I had to cut it off because I'm like, I need a new car. I got to get a house. Like I was like, okay,
I need to become financially stable.
It was costing me like $350 a month. It was
ridiculous. It was so expensive. It was good stuff, but holy shit. And so I decided to buy this half a case of beer, and it was $50 for the 3 4-packs, which I could stomach. $21 to ship it. In fairness, I got it the very next day. Like the shipping was almost like instantaneous. Came beautifully packaged. I'm going to reuse that packaging to ship a bunch of beers to our good friend of the show, Josh Price. And that's nice, but like, holy cow, that's insane. I've been spending my money on Pennsylvania beers. During pandemic, I bought Pennsylvania beers. Ed, how about you?
I've been going kind of skinny with everything. I did get to go to Fourscore Brewing last week. I've been trying to do a lot of the distilleries. Dead Lightning, been going there. Tomorrow, what's it called down here on Cameron Street? Midstate, they will be reopening for in-house. You can go in and have some drinks, which is great. I've been more trying to spread my money around to the bars and the wait staff that have been so good to me for many, many years, rather than just going to the source. Although I will say this, I am doing the 0-day beer and dinner pairing tomorrow night at Cafe 1500.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
I'm doing whatever I can.
Do you need a date for that, or are you good?
That ticket is spoken for, Bill.
Oh. All right.
I'm not allowed to post on Instagram, but we'll see.
Stories. But, it's ephemeral. Yeah, it's okay.
Trust me, you'll know. But yeah, so I mean, I'm doing it where I can. Like even
I'll wear something low cut.
Yeah. That's a 6-foot cut, Bill. But like I've been doing my best. Like I'll go to the Midtown Tavern and just be like, "Hey guys, I'm here. I'll get 6 wings and whatever to go." It's even just going to brunch. I was sitting outside on the front of the speakeasy porch, and they're like, "Well, yeah, you can just hang out front." And I go, "Okay," when you couldn't be inside the building.
Yeah.
And they were coming out and bringing me, I've been doing the best I can but for beer stuff, I want to go to Trogs and do brunch with all my friends. And I feel like we could get like a huge, like you, me, Adam Klein and all those guys, like Dave. Yeah. I feel like we should be able to get like a big giant table and just be like, yeah, let's go do it.
So I'm really hopeful I'm going to get the vaccine February, March.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm
afraid of needles, so I'm gonna wait till 2025.
I'm gonna roll in on that 1B status, baby. I'm getting it. Yeah, and then we shall brunch. We had a couple topics. I'm gonna just run through these, and you tell me which one you want to do next. Foo-Fighters. You want to talk? We promised we were going to talk about the new album. I've not heard it.
All right, I can talk about it. So, what's your questions?
Well, you were less than enthusiastic, and so let me set this up. The one band that you love the most,
that I would say I identify with, yeah.
Okay, that's even deeper. The band you identify with most, like for me, it's Weezer. For you, it's Foo Fighters.
Yep.
Okay.
I've been on Foo Fighters since '95. My brother gave me the cassette tape.
Nice.
I mean, I was like, "This is a call." I go, "I'm fucking in on this shit."
All right.
You know?
So you're in ground floor.
Yeah. This album, I do think Sonic Highways was a little bit of a miss for me. I do think Concrete and Gold was good. I think the Saint Cecilia EP is amazing. I love it. But this album, so I gave it another listen before we did the podcast, and maybe I was a little too harsh on it, but you can tell Dave Grohl, and he's doing interviews, and he's like, well, my daughter said this, and so I made this song. And you can kind of tell he's getting like, you can't be angry forever, and you can't be, everything. You just get old. Like, I feel like Pearl Jam's the same way. Like, you get too old to be mad, especially when you have money, that kind of thing. So, like, he's not Nirvana Dave Grohl anymore. Now, I will say this. I re-listened to the album, and I don't dislike it. There were 3 or 4 songs on it that I really liked, but that's half the album. My main problem is it's 9 songs, and it's like 40 minutes long, maybe tops.
Oh.
It's a Price is
Did they
Right
run out of gas, or what happened?
I think they had some shit in the can, and they were ready to go out like last year, and they were probably going to throw more songs into it and just said, fuck it, and then held on to them. So we might get some B-side type of stuff, but I don't know. It's weird seeing, like, if you were a big Aerosmith 70s fan, let's say, and they were like the Rolling Stones of America,
mm-hmm.
and then you were like, oh, they brought out this new album in 1994 or whatever, 5, 6, and like, don't want to close my, it's like kind of that kind of shit. And you're like,
yeah,
you're like, all right, they're still a great band, but at the same time, like, you're just old, and that's kind of how I feel about this album. Will it come around on me? Possibly. I was blasting it earlier, just doing a little research, but I don't know. I can't hate on them because they're so damn good and they're fun, and it is rock with pop sensibilities. And tell me another quote unquote rock band in America right now. Like, I mean, can you? Like, would you?
Purely rock? No. Like right. The way they are? No. Weezer's still putting out stuff, but that I would not put them in the same category.
Yeah, no. But at least the Foo Fighters are like a rock and roll. I would consider that rock and roll.
They are. I think they're a pure distillation of what rock music kind of is in that arc that exists. And so yeah, I get that.
Name me, and I've had this argument 140 times. Name me the best American rock band. The fact that you couldn't just yell Led Zeppelin or the Beatles at
I was thinking Led Zeppelin. But then it's like, but I think the right answer is the Beatles, but I don't think it's the Beatles.
No, not the best rock album, not the best rock band, American rock band.
It's Led Zeppelin. It's Led Zeppelin.
They're English.
Oh, they are English. Shit. No, you're right. The best American rock band. Aerosmith? No, guys, I don't know.
I think my top two right now would be, and I don't even like Aerosmith. It's Aerosmith or Heart.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And then you're going down to like, you know, and then you're like, well, no, Def Leppard is fucking English.
No. Yeah, no. And
it's almost impossible.
Def Leppard loses by like a hand.
But then we fall off the steps and we're like, oh, Journey. Like, fuck off.
Oh no, that's the wrong answer.
No, fuck you.
No. I think it's interesting that like it was interesting to hear you like really pull back from Foo Fighters in this album. Which technically isn't released yet, right? You were listening to, and you pre-ordered it, so like you're gonna pay for it. But
already paid.
I'm a big Weezer fan all the way back to the Blue album. I for the Black album was kind of like very cool to it. I really did like the Teal album, which was very weird, but still pretty cool. And there were a lot of people who are like getting all bent out of shape about the Teal album and all the covers. And I'm like, actually, this is really in line with like the band. Pinkerton was a Pixies tribute album kind of thing. Oh, wow. So like they've played with sound and other people's music. Pinkerton and the Teal album are not the same, but this isn't. I didn't think the Teal album was that big of a deal. There are some Weezer fans who I don't identify with and I don't really follow online who are like feeling about it. Hurley was not a good album in my opinion. There are a couple good songs, but not a good album. Ratitude had some problems.
Had a great album cover though.
Yes,
I was like, all right, that's a cool album cover.
The Van Weezer album that's coming, I have real trepidation about like that.
I saw they released one song.
They did.
But that's another thing. Like,
that. All right.
Like growing old with a band is difficult. There's Pearl Jam fans out there that are like, all right, you know, like who are ride or die, and you're just like, oh man.
Okay, Human is coming at the end of the month. Which when I heard the title, I was like, oh wait, is this gonna be a Radiohead thing? Are they gonna
that'd be great.
Are they playing off OK Computer? And apparently it's very piano based and
oh no.
And I'm like, well wait, so like is this a radio like what is this? I assume it's a play on the Radiohead album OK Computer, which by the way, OK Computer is Radiohead's best album. And probably one of the there's probably not an album during my college years I played more than that one. I mean, I was a big Dave Matthews fan back then, but man, I played the shit out of that.
I was still into rap, and my college buddies were like, look, we're going to beat the shit out of you if you don't get into something. I go, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. Like, I was not a
Pearl Jam guy. I was not a Pearl Jam guy.
I love probably the first 6 or 7 Pearl Jam albums. I really like them.
I was very intensely Nirvana. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Smells Like Teen Spirit is still probably my favorite album of all time.
Well, it's Nevermind.
Nevermind. Sorry, I'm so bad at music. My music opinions are very poor. So.
And somebody was like, you know, Foo Fighters are what Nirvana would be if they were like poppy, and I go, Nevermind is what Nirvana would be if they were poppy.
Right.
Like, it was the same sensible. Let's play B, E, and G chords, and then just make them like, you know, grungy, and then like at the same time, it was like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, you know, like that kind of sense. And I appreciate that type of pop sensibility. I go, but you put that next to Bleach. Even in Euro, and you're like, no, that was the album that they wanted to go famous with, and then Kurt Cobain couldn't take it. No, Nevermind is a
Kurt
poppy
Cobain
album.
couldn't take it is the whole story.
Yeah, pretty much.
uh,
And then Hole came out with when she
Not
did when Malibu and Celebrity Skin. That album was another like great pop fucking
yeah.
rock album. And I'm just like, man, this shit rules.
I'm not a big fan of Courtney Love and Holt.
That album was amazing.
That album was very good.
We can switch gears. Sorry, we're getting off the rails.
But that's okay. Music is not my thing. So you had problems with the album.
I did. It's too short, and it goes all over the place, and they're doing like nah, like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is getting like old, and the lyrics aren't very good. But the music is very good. It's very well produced, and it is growing on me a little bit when I listen to it on my stereo, where I'm like not, walking a dog at.
How can it not be well produced? I mean, they have access to all the.
Sure, but like Concrete and Gold had a little bit different. This one I listened to, and it like it just has like a very good production to it. It's really good, but you can tell like Taylor Hawkins had a lot to say because it has like a lot of that flowy surfer rock type of stuff to it, but also, and you can tell Dave Grohl like talks to his kids like, I have an idea for a song like that's, and I just like, all right, you just can't be young and angry forever.
Rock stars having kids is brutal.
Yeah, and then they start wearing glasses, like, and you're like, no offense.
That's why you start following a band and they already have glasses, like me.
And you're like, oh, I got to read my notes here. Like, okay, yeah, and it is what it is. I understand. I'm glad that I grew old with this band, but then at the same time, I go, ooh, Queens of the Stone Age has been Instagramming from inside the studio, and I'm like, yay, Queens of the Stone Age.
Cool.
Yeah.
Music, I enjoy music, but I don't consume it as deeply as many people. Once had a girl tell me that was proof that I was emotionally stunted. Not unfair.
So I know people who don't like. I've always been big into music because my dad was big into music, and that's why I'm into yacht rock. And I'm like, oh, Michael McDonald, like it's great. Do you think that there's a reason why you're not into music, or you're just like, well, I hear this song on the radio and it's like whatever?
I don't listen to the radio. Like someone once asked me, like, how do you find new music? I just don't. Like I follow a couple of things that I like. Mm-hmm. I pay for Apple Music, but it ends up being just background. What would
like? Have you never had a song touch a part of your life? Or
Sure I have.
Okay.
Good. I like Gold. I'm a big Goldfinger fan. Really like Goldfinger.
Mabel, she's the bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, there was
somewhere my college roommate Furman just his head fucking exploded. He's in Cranberry right now.
I really liked Goldfinger, and during the pandemic, they were recording.
Were they here in your bedroom too? Was that them?
Yeah.
Okay. They did that. Yes.
They're doing all this pandemic videos, and they were fantastic.
They were amazing. Yeah.
They were so good.
I don't even know how you can coordinate that.
It was really well done at the beginning of the pandemic. It was super good. And one of their songs, Superman, is a song I really liked, but it was covered by Mike Herrera from MXPX,
who has played at GK Visual, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Did you not know this?
No.
Oh my God. We got off air. Remind me. Yeah. No, Mike Herrera played GK Visual and stayed at Nate's house. Are you serious?
All right. And so
there's sometimes you need to flex on that me.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Not that's just amazing. On first in line at Trogs.
Yeah, like holy shit. Well, he did a cover of Superman by Goldfinger, and it totally changed the song. And I was in a ridiculous space at work, and I was like killing myself. And I popped into that and I was like, damn, like this must be like when people are like, when you really are feeling the music. Cause I was like sitting there like practically crying and I'm like listening to this song. Oh, practically. I cried. I was just like, man, it just like hit me so hard. Yeah. So it does happen. It's just pretty rare. I think there's a lot of people who are more open to how music, they give themselves over to the song and they're there to feel what the artist is in control of. So like one of the great things about I really like art in a more textual sense, not music necessarily. So like when I go to a museum, one of the things I really love is when I look at a piece, I'm like, I hate it. Like it's wrong. It's like, I don't like the way it makes me feel. And you get a visceral reaction from looking at something because it's like if it's making me physically uncomfortable, not offended. Because I think that's an easy, that's like being offended. It's like if it makes me like feel like kind of like, oh, like I'm not sure how I feel about this.
That's the Ben Roethlisberger threw one pick and he sucks. He's terrible. I don't know what like it's the fan reaction.
Like if I feel like something like interesting out of it, you know, like a different feeling from looking at a piece of work of art, like that to me I really care about. And I think people get that more from music than I do. One of the greatest experiences I ever had at an art museum was with my son. We were looking at a pretty famous piece. I can't remember the artist, and it's a shame on me. It's a Walking Man. It's in the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh, and it's this beautiful statue, and it's cordoned off with like some tape on the floor so you can't get too close to it. But it's sitting there out in the open, and there's always someone there in that room watching that one, so you don't get too close. And I'm holding my son literally in my arms. He's 3, maybe 4. And I said to him, what do you think this guy's doing? And he says, he's walking. And I said, is it a man or a woman? He says, it's a man. And I said, is he walking fast or slow? And he said, fast. And then I asked him, I said, how do you think the man feels? And this is a very abstract piece. And he looks at the statue and he looks at me, and there's no discernible facial features necessarily. And he finally looks back at me and he says, I think he's sad. And I said, why? He said, because it's making me feel sad. And I said, that's why it's great. And I think that was the first time where I really realized that something Picasso said, that all children are artists, somehow it gets like squeezed out of them. I'm butchering the quote, but that was true. And that what we forget is that we're supposed to give ourselves over to the art to a certain extent and feel something out of it. And when that happens, that's what's great about it. And also there's a pretentiousness around so much of it where we're not allowed to say, I don't like that. Well, of course you are. You should stand in judgment of it. What you should be able to do is say why you don't like it. And by the way, you should be sometimes open to the fact that you don't like it and the fact that it makes you feel a certain way, or the reasons why you don't like it, are also what makes it great. Because if it's giving you such a strong opinion about itself, then it's exposing something inside of you that maybe you didn't feel or see before.
Yeah, that's an amazing take too. And even if you hate it, it did elicit a reaction from you, and that is amazing. I am more of the type of person who's like, okay, I like congruency. Like, I like angles that work, and this picture's but I can also look at a piece of some sort of abstract art and go, oh, I like the colors. I like the angles. I like the way that is shaped. and that's definitely something. And but it shocks me that you don't like music in that way. We're almost of the same demographic, and I'm like, man, this is a guy who doesn't appreciate Steely Dan.
Like
unbelievable to me.
I'll listen to a song, I'm like, oh, that's good, and then he'll be like, who? Like, I am terrible about naming artists or naming songs. I can't.
And I'm the best. I'm like,
you are super good at that. Yeah, like if you're going to a quiz trivia night and you're like, well, we need the guy who's going to nail the music category. Where's Ed?
Bring him up. Like, all right. No, that's
I'm more.
Natalie
I'm a
Imbruglia.
generalist.
Wow, that's unbelievable to me. I figured as someone who you have headphones in constantly, I figured you'd have been a music guy of some kind.
I listen to podcasts and books on tape.
I listen to a lot of podcasts too, but man, sometimes I get in the car and I'm just like, I just want to.
I was the kid on the bus that was had headphones on every time I was on the school bus, and I was listening to AM radio.
So is this the old Sony Walkman that like was the waterproof one that you would?
Yeah, I was using it for radio.
Oh my gosh!
And I was listening to AM band. Like I was listening.
Oh no!
KQV, give us 20 minutes. We'll give you the world. Yeah, I was like all about that shit.
Oh, that's great! Coming to you live with 50,000 watts of classic rock.
50,000.
If you're a nerd on the back of the bus, we are yours.
Changing gears. We had a couple other things on the agenda. We could talk about WandaVision. Why I bought a 4K TV. By the way, I bought it a year and a half ago, and I'm starting to wonder why I bothered. And then I've been going car shopping. I haven't bought a car, but I have thoughts about car shopping.
All right,
where do we go next?
Well, all right, WandaVision. We can't give spoilers, but okay. So
I don't know what you can spoil.
Yeah, there's literally nothing there.
Nothing's happened.
So from what I understand,
slowest to burn.
from watching one of the many 300 YouTube subscriptions that I follow, in episode 3, everything kind of starts to come about, and Wanda this is very post the snap, and she is creating her own universe.
Right.
They're trying to break into her because she can collapse reality on itself if she.
Yeah, I assumed that she was in a coma or something like that.
No, just in her bubble, creating like a Pleasantville type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
But the problem is then what's her face is coming over and being like, well, the devil's in the details and blah blah blah. And what's going to end up happening is she's a tool of the devil who's trying to get Wanda to destroy the universe. And so S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever S.H.I.E.L.D. is now, is trying to, it's, I love what they did. They're like, here's the first 2 episodes. And by the way, your subscription's going to run out. So,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. As a sales guy, I like that.
I'm in. Like I'm buying Disney Plus anyway. I bought it for a year.
You're done. So you got to watch it.
I'm going to watch it. Like Mandalorian.
I love that show. I think it's
loved it. It was so good. Like Mandalorian, every single episode, I finished it and I went, I'm satisfied. Give me more. I finished the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. I'm like, is this just too weird? Am I like, I enjoyed my time, but I didn't know where
I think that's what they're going for, though. Like,
I have no idea where you're going.
But I think they're also using their collateral from things like The Mandalorian. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna give them a lot of runway, but like,
goes.
If you fuckers don't pay off on this shit, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh no!
So like, they better pay off.
It's going to and it's going to be her fighting off S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that.
Because
here's going to be in there, and
here's the thing: Mandalorian never made me like. I never said you better have a big payoff. I'm like saying like I am very happy in every episode you give me. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, this one I'm like
Luke Skywalker in the finale. You don't. Ooh, I need a big payoff.
I didn't need that. I was very happy for it, but I didn't need that.
I thought that was, I don't want to say it was lazy, but at the same time, I go, oh, I kind of get it. They're trying to merge the timelines.
Yeah, they were. I was fine with it.
Have you watched any? Have you watched any of the side shows like the Star Wars Rebels and all that bullshit?
I watched a little bit of Clone Wars with my son. We're working our way through it. We're still early on. It's good.
I'm doing this with Jay Williams. He's like, "Oh, that's so and so," and I'm like, "I don't give a crap." Like,
we're working through it. Okay, so WandaVision, we'll come back and we'll talk about that again.
I think it's going to be great. I love what they're doing initially, just to tease it as like, oh, it's Bewitched or whatever. I think it's great.
I'm gonna quote Joel, friend of the show, brewer down in Florida, and he's got a podcast which I can't remember the name of, and now I can't. Oh my god,
we got to listen to it.
It's good, and he said, because I said, is WandaVision just too weird? And he says it's gonna, like, he was kind of like you, like I think what he was saying is it's gonna pay off, but after having so much time without a MCU movie, like, we ain't got time for this slow burn bullshit. Right. Like, get your ass in gear. And he's absolutely, like so many things, Joel was absolutely right. So shout out friend of the show, Joel. Thank you. You're right.
Except for New England IPAs.
Yeah, right. He is right about coffee beers and brown ales too. So.
Ooh, all right. I'll give him that.
I gotta finish this beer, and that.
Yeah, I'm down to liquor now. So
while I'm finishing this Hop Slam, I want you to talk to me. Explain to me why I should still be like. I'm not dissatisfied with my 4K TV. I love it. I bought a very nice one. It's a Q dot whatever, so it's a fairly fancy one, not super high end. But, like, where is all my 4K content? Like, when am I going to get 4K sports? When am I going to get 4K broadcast TV? Like, okay, I got Mandalorian 4K, but, like, when's the good when's the shit that I'm not going to just stream? When's the good shit coming?
Well, let me ask you this. Your 4K TV that you bought, I don't know what make or model it is. You just said I got a...
Vizio Q dot.
Okay. So... here's what's fun about 4K. So like your TV might be able to transcode things that like your streaming box can't. But I would say I would go with this. Netflix has 4K Dolby Atmos shit.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Yep, I got that.
Amazon, The Boys, all that shit, all their
Boys was so good.
It was awesome.
Oh, so
but, like,
good.
4K, ready to go.
Yep.
All right. YouTube has HDR, 4K. Ready to go. Now it's mostly like
not a lot.
I gotta watch right. And then video games. If you guys have, if you get
I got a Switch. I mean, what do I mean? My Switch is pushing 720. Jesus Christ.
1080 mostly. If you
barely
put it in the dock.
Is it 30? Is it 30 frames per second? I mean,
60.
Holy shit.
It's Mario Kart's amazing on it.
Mario Kart is super good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Oh my god, my chick's daughter is like, Ed, are we gonna play Mario Kart? I'm like, no, you play. Like, keep getting me like wheels and wings and stuff like that.
Yeah, so good, so good.
But no, there is a ton of 4K content out there. And what's yours? Are you only using the TV? Are you using?
So I have an Apple TV 4K hooked up, and then I've got a Roku 4K hooked up. There are smart features on it. It's a Vizio. There's a whole bunch of smart bullshit that's on there. I don't want to use that shit.
I could even email you 4K movies or put them in Google like Drive.
Yeah.
And you could like put them on a thumb drive and put them in and just play them.
I could do that.
I have Shield TVs, so I'm like the nerdiest of everybody.
But what I want, and I've gotten this a couple of times, a 4K football game on streaming on
Fox Sports does.
Fox Sports. They do. They do.
They're 1080 upscaled, but they're great.
They are great.
They're fantastic. Even T last year was like, holy shit, this looks great.
Yeah. And by the way, the camera work on football this year feels like it took a leap because they're using a lot of a lot of different camera angles that I think that they now have access to when you have an empty stadium.
They're not dealing with people in the stadium,
They're using these shallow depth of field camera tricks where it's not a camera trick. It's like the focus is right on the player, and then you're getting this beautiful bokeh effect, like in game, and you're like, oh, someone's been watching European soccer, which has been doing this for years, and boy, does it look pretty.
Yeah.
And they're using slow-mo the way soccer has used it for years. And like, it's actually like becoming more cinematic. And so it's getting better. And then I'm watching it, I'm going, you guys need to also do this in 4K. Like, I want to watch the Masters in 4K. CBS has got the Super Bowl this year, almost certainly not going to be in 4K. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
They're already selling 8K TVs. What the fuck are you doing?
At least an upsell, okay, if you're on the CBS All Access app or whatever, you can watch it in 4K or Chromecast.
Yeah, whatever. Just here's the thing: the TV manufacturers, like they tried doing 3D, and like 3D was the thing that was gonna move. 3D like died in the crib. It just
which sucks because it only died because you had to have a peripheral,
glasses, and
it looked really cool. I had a 3D TV and everything looked. I watched Prometheus on my 3D TV and I go, "This is amazing!" Like it was really cool. But unless like you don't need the peripheral, that's the problem, and that's
the glasses killed it. It was never gonna work.
If 3D, you can't just see it right in front of you.
3D was a mess. Okay, we're gonna do 4K, and it's like, buy the 4K TV, the content's coming, and the content is kind of coming. Like, you guys have got to get this moving. And when I say you guys, I mean broadcasters. Like, why don't I have ESPN in 4K, all 4K content all the time?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Why?
I was going to say, I can give you access to 4K on my Plex server, but
I want ESPN 4K all the time. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if they said to me, buy ESPN Plus, all of our content is now 4K, I'd be like, purchased, done. I want to watch the Masters in 4K. I want to watch the Super Bowl in 4K.
But I would rather pay $6 to watch the Masters in 4K than pay for ESPN in 4K.
Whatever.
Because they're not shooting it in 4K.
They got to shoot it in 4K. I want real 4K. Yeah, get your shit together. It's 2021. You fuckers have got to serve it up. And because guess what? All this cord cutting has already happened. Okay, so you're moving us to digital streaming. You have the bandwidth on the digital streaming. I understand you can't push it all through a coax cable, and it's putting it over the air. God knows that whether or not that will ever happen.
How do you feel about your data cap coming in, by the way?
I'm paying $14 a month to eliminate my data cap.
Are you really?
Yeah.
It's only $14.
Well, it's 14 months for this first 6 months. $25 a month after that.
Oh, I have some magical gig.
Are you Fios? Is there a cap on Fios?
No.
Comcast.
The footprint's so small it makes no difference.
Comcast is 1.2 terabytes, and if you look at my last 6 months of usage before that cap came in, 5 of the 6 months I went over, and I was like, "Well, really? I'm paying."
It's the $30. Literally, I'm like, how have they not given you at least 150 upload? It's unreal to me.
It's criminal the way they treat us, and if there's one damn thing that may be good that coming out of having Democrats control the FCC now is maybe finally we can start treating the internet like what it is, which is a utility. Make a utility and make them treat customers like they're engaged in a utility, because they are. No one complains about their water bill. Not really. And guess what? We have the best water on planet Earth. No one has a water system as good as America. That's including things like problems in Flint, Michigan.
I was going to say,
I get that.
Detroit says hello, but
Yeah, I get that. But you know what? The water system in America is a marvel of the modern world. For all of its problems, it's pretty damn good. So I want 4K TV fixed. That's a good rant.
So I have the Shield Pro and the
Yeah.
Shield Tube. The 4K upscaling is fucking amazing. It's really good.
How much is that?
Well, the lesser one's 150. The bigger one is 200. But you're an Apple guy. Like I don't understand. What
I'm an
is
Apple
that
guy.
you- Yeah.
I'm an Apple guy.
So, I mean, like you're already ingrained. You have to wait till next year when they're like, all right, here's the next Apple TV.
I've got a 4K Apple TV.
Now,
It does 4K stuff.
Do you like it?
Yes. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, I put stuff in Plex, but I don't give it to anybody because I don't want my laptop to melt down, but I can do it here, and it always looks great. For the most part,
I gotta tell you, I'm kind of stunned you're running that off a laptop. I really
Why?
am. I would think the transcoding would just like turn it into like a molten.
Most
pile
people
of-
don't understand how to adjust their things. So, like, a lot of people are like, "Hey, I'm watching this on my. Hey, why is this looking so shitty on my 50-inch TV?" I'm like, "You got to change your settings. At least change your bandwidth." And they're like, "Oh, okay," which I could do from here. But I'm like, "Well, if that's all they're taking, I don't care."
Now, could you run that off a? Let me ask you this: so, if you were to get like a Raspberry Pi 4,
Oh yeah, I could literally run this off of my Shield Pro that's in the thing.
and run it out on that, really?
No.
Because like I thought about. I mean, why would I? Because I've got Ed TV. That's what I call it, Ed TV. I've thought about setting up a Plex server, but I've thought about setting up a Plex server with a Raspberry Pi, but I'm like, oh, why? I got Ed.
You'd be better off. What I think you should do, and you'd be great at this, get an old video game cabinet, put a Raspberry Pi in it, and put all the video games on it, and just be like, yeah. Like I think you and your kids would be better off with that.
So
But
I got
I
the
mean-
original Raspberry Pi right here.
Yeah, but you can run a Plex server off of that.
Yeah. This is the original one. This one's.
Maybe not.
I mean, this is.
I mean, I bought this computer when I left Comcast in what was it, 2013?
Oh,
So, yeah, but it's an i7 with 8 gigs of RAM,
yeah.
and it just works very well. So,
That's
I mean,
nice.
if you want to run your own, it's not going to take much.
No, the barrier entry is so low.
It was hilarious when Tony goes, "Oh, I saw you put all these kids shows on your Plex," and then, oh wait, are we? Oh shit, we're still recording. We're gonna cut this off.
Yeah.
But then she came over many weeks later. I've been trying to help her out. She's like, "Oh, I see you've changed the locks." I was like, "Oh, sorry about that."
This is staying in. This is all staying in.
No,
This is all staying in.
no, we gotta cut
Yeah.
this out.
Well, hey, you're the
Well, I
editor.
get right of yeah.
You're the editor now, so yeah.
Oh God.
So we're at an hour 38. Do you think people care about like my car shopping issues?
No, because you and Dave are like, I'm gonna buy a fucking Tesla. No, I'm gonna buy that electric Bronco, and I'm like,
He's buying.
you know,
that
I'm about to upgrade from a Mazda CX-3 to a Mazda CX-30. Like, I'm like,
Are you? Oh, are you? Are you? Because
yeah,
you gonna go 630. Yeah,
my lease is up this year.
nice.
And I'm gonna trade that car in with literally less than 18,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You're not gonna go to a 5? You're not going to CX5?
no, because I like the 30. I can get like the illuminated floorboards and all
Yeah.
the shit. Like I want all the
Nice.
fun shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a Mazda 3, and I really
know.
like it.
And
Really like it.
Yeah. That's what convinced me to get the CX-3.
The Mazda 3, I've had it for 5 years. It's got 130,000 miles on it.
And you know what pissed me off?
Mm.
I thought I was getting a CX-3 with the dual thermostats, like on my Acura, like that you have. Oh no, they brought me one without that, and I was like, oh fuck this shit. So like now I'm like, no, I need to have all the shit that I want.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that when you buy a car, you should get it fully loaded.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but find out what car you can afford that's fully loaded. Because if you have to step down just like half a step.
I literally put everything I could into this car. It's like, build your own CX-30. And I go, okay. Yeah. And I couldn't get over $35,000. And I go, okay.
All right.
Yay.
Because I've been looking. Now, there are some cars on this list that are not fully loaded because, like, when you start going into, let me give you a little rundown of my car history. I've had some like really shitty cars.
I think it's I remember being in that BMW that you had. Sweet ride, and you had that's what made me get when I got the CX-3. I go, do you have the floor mats? And they're like, yeah, it's going to be $100 extra. I go, yeah, just give me those because you had them in your BMW, and I go, oh, that's the best thing you should ever do.
Yeah.
That car was awesome.
Yeah, the car was awesome.
I had to get rid of them. So how did you end up going from your BM5 series to your
it was a 3 series. It was a 3 series. So
sorry.
That's okay. We'll go the whole way.
No, we're going to cut all of this out, so I don't care.
No, we're not. I'm not going to talk about the cars of my youth. I'm going to talk about the cars post-college. The first car post-college was a 78 Chevy Chevette, which was a total piece of shit, but it had almost no miles on it and was showroom new in 2004.
I have to know why there were almost no miles on it.
It was a little old ladies.
Little hatchback,
little blue hatchback. It was a little old lady's car. It was a shit box. I bought it for $900 so I could get it. So I could just get in gear post college, right? So it's like 2002. I just needed an A to B car. It was the cheapest thing I could find, and it was literally showroom new, perfect. I want to say I had less than 5,000 miles on it. It was unbelievable.
That's pretty good.
It was great. It was also a total piece of shit. It was clean. It was very pristine. Total crap.
Cars were back then. Yeah.
At one point, I was driving it home on the turnpike, and the engine seizes up, and all the because the timing chain broke, and the engine seized, and it turned into
belt and everything. Just
a timing chain, a belt, a chain, and it fucked. It shit the bed, and it was done. Car was fucked. Goodbye. That was replaced then by what was one of my favorite cars, the 2004.5. It was a half-year upgrade. The VW GLI in Lagoon Blue. It was a 6-speed, and it had BBS wheels. It was 1.8 turbo, and it was awesome. It was the perfect Jetta. It was the best Jetta they ever put out. Okay. It was absolutely amazing. I love that car. It ended up getting wrecked when I got T-boned by an asshole who was drunk in a old Chevy Silverado. They fixed it. They shouldn't have fixed it. They should have totaled it, and it was never quite the same.
Oh, that happened to my dad too.
Drove me nuts. I ended up driving the car for a few years further, but it was never quite right. Turned that car over, and I got the car that was my dream car.
Oh my gosh.
The naturally aspirated 2008 330i.
Naturally aspirated.
330i BMW. And that was my dream car. I had spent my entire youth. I was a subscriber to Car and Driver since I was like 10. I wanted a naturally aspirated inline 6 3 series, and I wanted it with a 5-speed. In this case, I ended up, unfortunately, having to settle for an automatic. Not a problem. And I loved that car. Loved it. Right up until the point where I had 150,000 miles on it, and I was putting money into it hand over fist because of the Vanos system, which was a very weird intake system, and it's complicated. It was very expensive to upkeep. I now had kids. I'm pumping money into a car that is, I'm pumping more money into the car to keep it on the road than it's worth because I've just driven it so much. I wanted to take it to 250,000 miles. I got to 170, and it was like, this is getting ridiculous. Needed to downsize because I was just commuting so far, and went with the Mazda 3, which was hatchback, and at the time, frankly, the best commuter car you could get. I got the 2.5 liter Skyactiv. It's a front wheel drive. They now have a all wheel drive. It's the best front wheel drive car that was made at that time, in my opinion. Really liked it. It is I still have it, very, very good car. If you're looking for a car in that segment, you get the Mazda 3 and you don't look back. Better than the Civic, better than a Corolla. It's got a little bit of German kind of flavor. One of the things I really like about it is when you really step on the gas, it's got what I call the go button. BMW has this too. You push the accelerator all the way to the floor, and then there's this like little click in it. You click it, it goes down just a little bit further, and that gives it all the beans, and you're going real fast. It's great.
Just pull over and go, all right, downshift. To the fact that two people have been like, I didn't know you drove stick. I go, no, I just drive this like it is a stick. Like, I'm like
yeah. That car, I could take it for another 100,000 miles. I mean, I think it's that bulletproof. It's Japanese, and it's a Mazda. They just run. But you know what? I work really hard, and I want a bigger car. So I've started car shopping. And I've looked at the following 4 vehicles, driven them, or gone into the showroom. See, Toyota Highlander. Ugh, it's a mommy's car. Terrible. BMW X5. I feel kind of burned by my last BMW, and I've already done the dream car BMW. I will tell you this. The clamshell, like the way that the trunk opens, it's a clamshell.
okay.
So you get like a little tailgate, which is so nice. Oh, it's great. You should really like that feature alone, like almost gets you there. But again, the BMW thing done. Volvo, lifeless, and the infotainment. Oh my God, the infotainment sucks. Like if I bought that car, every time I drive it, I hate myself. I actually walked into a Lexus dealership intending to drive the RX 450L. They pulled it up in front of the dealership, and it was so ugly. I said, I'm not going to drive it because I will not buy this car.
The front ends of those cars are now.
It's so bad. I mean, it looked bad. They look bad in pictures, but like when I actually like saw it in front of me, I was like, and I actually had to apologize because wasting the guy's time. I said to him, I'm sorry, this car is so ugly, I can't drive it. Like I can't, yeah. I'm not even gonna, there's no way I'm going to buy this car. I'm sorry. I had to apologize. I'm sorry I'm wasting your time. And he's like, no. And I'm like, no, I don't know how anyone buys this car. Get me out of here. So now I'm waiting on the Acura MDX. They're going to buy an Acura. You had an Acura, and I think I recall you really liked it.
Yeah, and I got it to $214,000.
Yeah,
it was
14,000 miles.
Or miles, excuse me, not dollars. Yes, no, I bought that for $214,000. No, that car. I mean, it's a Honda. I mean,
yeah, it goes forever.
Hiding that, but it was unbelievable. And then I'm just like, yeah, but it. Oh man, if you get an Acura, I'm gonna be so. And people are like, go get an Acura. I'm like, nope, I'm not paying $70,000 for it.
It's expensive.
You know? Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up because we're both drunk.
We should. Yes.
Last beer I'm on is Stepdad.
Oh my gosh.
Enhanced. I did this for you, stepdad. And boy,
I hate your
it's more the Veil Train. I'm doing it in the Breweries of PA glass because Breweries of PA. Hey, thanks for the hype,
we should
guys.
half the Veil Train.
Yeah, this is more Veil bullshit. It's the same.
I'm actually more impressed by the fact that your video has been so good.
Super clear, super crisp.
Yeah.
So I think next time we're gonna do this live with video on YouTube.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Which means
do it?
where? No, do it right here, like right here, like this.
Oh, I thought you meant you wanted to come over to my house, or if we should go.
No. We'll do it like this.
Tavern.
Oh, we'll definitely. I'll do that after I get the vaccine. So we'll do it like this, and I'll broadcast to the YouTube. Viewers will be able to see us. It'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be great.
All right. Anything else for the go of the order?
No. I love you, and I miss doing podcasts.
We'll do it again soon. Okay, I'm going to stop.